But yeah, I want to hear from you because you have a ton of stuff to talk about, dude.
Okay, let's talk about the first movie, right? So after, going after spending time with you again, we got some cool stuff coming up. On Saturday, I last Saturday, I saw a really wild movie called Fast 10.
Wild Speed,
Yeah,
Space
yeah.
Force, or whatever it's called in
Yeah,
Japan.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. I
I
love the
gotta look
Japan
now. I
titles.
gotta look it up the Japanese title. But go
Please
ahead, man.
do,
Go
please
ahead. Go
do.
ahead.
But yeah, so I got to see that videos up on all I'm gonna talk about three different movies. Two of them I have videos up on channel. One of them I'm not allowed to do a full thing yet. We'll
Wild
get to
Speed
that.
Fire Boost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wild Beast right. That's great. That actually is a better title
So
than
I
Fast
said
10.
Wild Speed, but
Um,
I was close. I was close.
close, close. So just generally speaking, man, it is drastically worse than the last couple movies that they've done.
No, that last one was
Yes.
bad, dude.
No, this is bad. This
That
is bad.
oh
This is
wow
bad. And
wow.
I think people are watching this and they're like, "Oh, I the people who are trying to find good things for it. They're like, "Oh, I love, Jason Momoa's Dante and like he was a great villain and all this kind of stuff." I personally didn't love his villain at all. I thought it's like when like you see people and like because they're super extra, people think they're amazing. Like they have to be like super gimmicky, if you know what I'm saying. Almost like trying to act like the Joker or something like
Yeah.
crazy. Like that doesn't make you a better villain just because you're doing goofy stuff. Like you could be like the quiet stoic character and still be absolutely amazing, right? And he's doing what the script gave him. Like that's what they wanted his character to be. That's what he's doing. So he committed great. But no, I think like Shaw, I think Luke Evans, I think that was probably, in my opinion, one of their better villains that they had. He's the one that even in the ride that they have is the villain
Oh
for,
yeah.
and then the spin-off Hobbs and Shaw because his brother comes, well, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah
But I think
yeah.
Shaw was probably the better. But anyways, I digress. Um, but this movie is so goofy that if it wasn't for the cars and some of these action scenes, dude, it is bad, bad. Like it felt like something like from like 2005 or something when they started making a bunch of different action movies that just didn't have great narrative. So like let's like the action cover up these really bad just bad scripts, just
Bad
overall just
acting. Bad.
bad acting, bad like there's just no sense of direction. But let's have this great, great action sequences. And that's what I think they use. It's unfortunate. Yes, there's definitely set up for more. I see where they're going with it, and that's what I think keeps this franchise around is because they always try and like piggy on, hey, this is where we're going next, this is where we're going next, and then people out go back and watch it. It's like Transformers, right? Like the Transformers movies could have been really goofy, but then would always have that little stinger thing out there. You're like, oh, this is coming up next, or this is teased next. So then you see the trailer, and then you watch the next one. I don't think it's working as well. Sounds like the opening on this was very soft, so it's definitely on the decline. Look, they got two more coming. Let's see where it goes. I won't talk about spoilers because there's a video for that on the channel. But yeah, it's just not good. So that wasn't great. Now let's talk about another movie that I got. I'm gonna talk about The Little Mermaid, and I'll save the the other one for last.
Okay, because that one doesn't
Um,
exist. So
John Cena over here. Um, so The Little Mermaid last night I got to see early fan screening that they had. And so it's out technically today is the first official day it's in theaters. But yeah, honestly, man, the movie's good. And I actually put it for me, it's in my top three of my live action ones. I think
okay.
I think Cinderella's still my favorite. Cinderella's really good. I think Jungle Book's might up there. It's also I think John Favreau's Jungle Book I personally really enjoyed. Um, and then I think this one up is up there too, Little Mermaid, just because it still hits on the same beats of what the Little Mermaid's all about, and it's new enough that it doesn't feel like they're just making the same thing, like how the Lion King. I like the Lion King, John Favreau's, but it just felt like it was just copy and paste, but just with CGI. Where there's definitely still the same pillars of the story, but there's definitely enough. I mean, just alone, even just from the appearance of the actress, I'm supposed to say, like just from that alone, to just some other little details that they do that kind of makes you go, okay, I know I'm watching The Little Mermaid, but they are trying not to make you feel like it's just literally the exact same thing. The most important stuff that's supposed to happen happens. McCarthy is great. She does a great job as Ursula. You know,
I
the
saw
actor
your bit
playing
about Sebastian, sir, and I am offended.
Look, man, I think it's totally fair that because I think that's the one thing that's not good. Like CGI of how they look, they should have made them look more friendly, not going for this realism. Like I don't like that, and I agree with you. Like I don't think that's the way to go. Um, what they did though, still hilarious. Like Sebastian, I was hoping would be funny, and that's the thing about these movies, man. Like we talk about Peter Pan and Wendy, right? The movie tried to be so modernized that it kind of felt a little soulless. Like it's dark, it's not like TikTok isn't funny, Hook isn't funny. Like it's trying to be almost like the Snyder cut version of Peter Pan, but still supposed to be a family movie, and it just doesn't add up. Where something like this, Aquafina, like having her presence, hilarious, bro, right? Having the Sebastian character, hilarious still. Like they keep that consistent. Flounder's cute. The Ursula stuff is really really wild. I just think that they hit off on the beats well enough, and Javier Bardem is great as the King Trident. Like it's a great. So I think like the stuff people complain about, like, oh, they changed the songs. I said it in my review. I think most people complaining about it probably couldn't sing the full song start to finish if their lives depended on it.
Yeah,
Like I'm serious. These are people who are like angry and they don't literally, dude, like one line. You wouldn't notice it if you blinked. Like you have to really be looking for this stuff. It's all the same. It's all what's supposed to be. And then people were worried about it being preachy. It really isn't. It's all just about Little Mermaid wanting to have feet and join the people in the and on land. That's all the movie's about, bro. They're not trying to. There's no extra message. I would say Cinderella was probably more preachy, personally, than
interesting.
this.
Okay,
Where they're trying to talk about like forgiveness and all stuff. It's not that kind of movie.
okay.
This movie. So
So it's
yeah,
pretty straightforward then. All right.
it's pretty straightforward. Now, if people don't want to see because they don't want to see a remake, totally fair. Like I get that because I do think I have remake fatigue myself. I want to see Disney get back to making originals. I want to see them
Totally.
do stuff. But this is not a bad movie. It's
All right.
fine. It's fine.
Cool.
It's an 8. It's an 8. It's an 8 out of 10.
All right.
Now let's talk about the one.
Can
The
you talk
one you
about
guys
it?
are waiting
Can you
for.
talk about it?
I can only give my impressions. There is an embargo, and I have to be very careful about what I say. Yeah,
Okay.
things might be on the internet leaked or whatever, but it ain't gonna come from us. We're gonna
Okay.
honor what the
So
Tampa Bay Comic Con. I gotta give them a shout out. We're gonna clip this out. Tampa, thank you so much for the opportunity to let me see this movie early. You guys are awesome, and your team is amazing, and I can't wait to be at your convention. And if you guys are listening and you're in Florida, hey, you guys can get tickets and be out there too. I'll be out there, so I'd love to meet you guys out there. But yeah, movie Flash,
that doesn't exist, or does it, Joe?
or does it?
Are you convinced?
Yeah, the movie exists. I can't believe it feels like full circle, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we started this podcast and I would clown on this thing so much. And then the fact that full circle comes and I'm seeing this movie early before it even comes out is just
I was probably in the closet when we were first talking about this movie.
you were in the closet. You were in the closet. Oh my gosh. If you know, you know. Look, I think okay, I'm just gonna give impressions. I can't like don't ask like is this in it, that in it? I won't say. You could ask me, does a character do a handstand, or if Green Lantern shows up, I'm not gonna say yes either way. But general impressions is this movie is really good. I yes, it exists. Yes, it's really good. It's not top tier DC. It is not the best top 5. I've heard I think Peter Safran said something about like it being or no, I think it was Zaslav. I think that said like it's like one of his favorite superhero films of all
Yeah.
time, and James Gunn saying it's one of the top ones. I don't think that. I think it's one of the best if you think of DCU basically anything after um the Dark Knight trilogy. It's definitely up there. I don't I I don't treat it like a standalone because let's be real, you have a lot of characters in this. I'll leave it at that. Um and I think the performances from Keaton, from Ezra, from Sasha playing Supergirl, I just think everyone nailed what they were supposed to do, and it's just such a emotional movie in ways that I didn't expect, and it's just so well put together that I have to give it respect. Like I cannot come on here and just talk bad about it because and you would think, "Oh, Joel, you're saying something nice because you got an early screening." No, like
Mm.
believe it, believe it. From the I can't I just can't get a review, can't but just impressed like from the beginning of the movie, you it is hype. And I just can't wait for people to see it. I now to what we can talk about, like I don't know if you've seen this, but it is tracking right now to be about $75 million opening weekend. It's not looking good.
Oh wow,
It's
interesting.
actually actually has gone down as time has gone on, which I think is why they're doing these screenings because they're trying to create buzz for it.
Gotcha.
I personally would recommend people to watch it in theaters. I think it on the big screen is you're gonna have a really good experience just with some of the stuff that they do. It's worth seeing on a on the biggest screen you can. But I respect why some people don't want to see this. Like we know the Ezra controversy is not great,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people just don't want to see it because of this person.
So, someone from work saw it, um,
Okay, okay,
and uh, this person was telling me that if it weren't for Ezra, um, the movie would have been 100% more enjoyable, and not because he wasn't bad in the movie, but because of this person
it's absolutely true.
was having tough time separating the artist from the art,
Oh,
right?
oh, there's
So
stuff in this that you're gonna be thinking. I'm just gonna say that, like, because if like, you know what the person did,
okay,
and then you see what like that, you'll be thinking, like, for sure, it's hard to take out of it. You have to separate art from the artist for sure, right? And it's definitely and the performance the person does is to me they nailed it. And I've made fun of their performances prior to all this ass stuff going on. Where like and specifically in Joss Whedon's Justice League, I hated the portrayal of how they showed the Flash. I was
oh,
like,
it was
nobody cared.
bad.
It was
Oh,
bad. I kept saying, I was like, no one cares about this. The
hmm,
Flash should be amazing. People should love it. Kids should be wearing T-shirts. This is a great character, and that was it. Then you see the Snyder Cut version. Loved how they showed Flash in there, right? The whole like running through time to throw it back and to save them, and that's great. And then you get to this, and yeah, you'll see it. You'll see what I'm talking about when you see it. But I think they're trying to create buzz. I heard there's going to be more screenings this coming weekend and the weekend after that. But I definitely think that Ezra has really harmed this film drastically because people are just not wanting to see it because of this person, and I can't blame them. Like I cannot blame people for that because it's pretty wild. Like some of the stuff
yeah,
that Ezra has done, if he did it to your family member, your kid, your spouse, you would probably be pretty upset. It wasn't a little one-time mistake.
yeah. Ah, that's good to know. I'm glad that you liked it. I'm not gonna ask any more questions. I'll ask questions after the
I was
embargo,
gonna say offline we can
and
talk.
yeah, we'll talk offline.
I'm just not allowed to give it a public review yet.
Yeah.
I do have though a review that I'm filmed that I'm gonna schedule on the channel.
Okay.
So it will be up right when the embargo lifts, which I'm waiting to hear back. I'm actually reaching out to Warner's. I think I got a contact now to find out when I'm allowed to do it. So basically, when Rotten Tomatoes drops, I think I'm allowed to do that. I may have it cut and just do like a quick review that comes out early, and then a non-spoiler one where I can actually because Warner was very kind to let us in to see this. And like I do not want to mess with them. I want to make sure we're invited to come back to screenings in the future, and they don't come back and look at our channel and go, "These guys spoiled anything." So
Yeah.
so what we hope to do is again sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.